Sometimes you just need to vent. Sometimes you just need to get your thoughts out there and share them with the world. And that's why we opened the Switch Force Ventline last week. Eventually, it's going to fit as a piece into our bigger podcast puzzle. But we wanted to give you guys a taste today. And we wanted to poll the calls from last week where we asked about your worst Switch game experience. And we have those calls today to share with you. Gabe is here in his full glory, ready to go, still partially in the void, even though the direct happened.
I got lost in the void, Zach. I'm going to give them the phone number just in case they don't know what this even is. In case you missed last week's video, we now have this event line. You can call in 321-300-5293. Again, that is 321-300-5293. So we'll have another topic for you at the end of the video here. But Zach,
we've got another person. We've got
what? Who's here?
Jake. Is that you? Sakurai? Did we win the day with you from our big spending? No, it's producer Eric, who is
that's my name
here, ready to introduce the calls and carry us into Switch Vent.
Producer
glory.
Eric in my head is a puppet, by the way.
No, that's a different channel, Gabe. No, that's not a channel.
No, that's not. Okay, all right. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about something else. All right, let's move on.
Guys, I'm very excited for this. We got over 60 calls. I'm going to go through and play them. If you guys do call in with Event Line, if you keep them under 30 seconds, that's best. If you don't hear your call, make sure to stay around because we may put some extras out sometime. So we do listen to every single voicemail, though. So
every
you guys
single
ready
one.
to go?
Let's do this. I'm excited. We have not heard these calls. This is blind. As Gabe mentioned, the next topic will be at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. But now let's hear what you guys had to say about the worst Switch game you've ever played.
This was the very first call into the Switch Force line.
Hi, this is Gabe. Is this the Switch Force event line? Oh my god, did I connect? Did I?
That's it?
That was a test. That's when he asked me to test how this works. I don't know why he played that just now.
Oh my god, that's you?
Yeah, that's me being silly, like trying to do like.
Sound like you. I was like, my goodness gracious.
It was me with a sultry voice because he asked me to call in and.
Wait, that's your sultry voice?
I don't know. I thought so.
That explains so much. Holy cow!
All right,
Holy cow!
Here's the first free call, guys.
Okay, please play another call.
Hey, so you guys put up a number. Need to worry about like messaging. Definitely messaging. And we also need to worry about games that need communication as far as Payday 2. And the app is only useful for Splatoon 2. Like, it's weird. Like, what's the point of having the app to chat with people if you can only use it for one game? It's weird. I don't know. Hopefully you guys talk about that. Have a good day.
All right, do you guys have anything to say about that? An app that uses for one game.
Payday 2 is definitely one of the worst experiences on Switch. And I know that game is beloved in a lot of other arenas, but when Gabe and I played it on Switch, we had like hyped ourselves up for Payday 2 for so long. I don't even really know why. But we played it and it was an absolute disaster. And
Yeah,
I'm sure if you're trying to do that online, it's just that much worse.
Yeah, we were playing online. It's not a fun game. It doesn't fit super well on Switch, to me at least. To Zach and I, we play it together. We have a video of that out there if you care to watch it. But seriously, Zach, was that Donkey?
I love Donkey. Super Mario Bros. 2, game of the year, every year.
All right.
And it actually can be this year because it's on Switch.
There you go.
Boom.
All right, next call. Gabe, this is your game of the year.
Snake Pass is the worst game I've played on the Switch because it is impossible to play and the level design is terrible.
That's a horrible call.
I promise you that was not me. I agree with him. Yeah, Snake Pass isn't fun. And like, I know, first of all, I don't hate the game, first of all. I know people think I hate I don't hate it. I just think it's boring and monotonous and you get nothing for collecting these things. Noodle is a chore to control. Like, why does anyone think Snake Pass is fun?
Gabe's over here, the guy that can't stand roguelikes, even though they have a lot of variety. Can't stand Snake Pass, all his variety. He just wants to play his repetitive old school JRPGs. So makes perfect sense.
Wait, hold on. What variety did Snake Pass?
There are so many different things to coil around, so many different platforms to jump up. It's challenging. Like, what I liked most about Snake Pass,
controls
honestly,
are trash.
Gabe, you just can't. You're not one with Noodle.
I'm definitely not.
I'm not surprised, honestly, to hear Snake Pass being one of the worst because it was like, it does have a sort of, monumental is too strong a word, but like it was like one of the first like Unreal Engine 4 games on Switch. And so it was kind of a big deal from that standpoint. An early indie game with a really cool look. I appreciate it for how unique it tried to be. Execution, yeah, like the controls are tough and it's hard to decide if it's the player being bad or the game being bad, but I still have a soft spot for Noodle and Snake Pass. And I'm sorry, Gabe, that you hate it so much.
Don't hate it.
All right, next call. Smash is taking over the world. How about a Smash Lite game?
Hi, Switch Force. I'm calling because you guys requested a game that I didn't like, and it was Brawlout. I did not like Brawlout. I thought I wasn't trying to replace it for Super Smash Bros. I thought it was going to be a fun fighting game, but it just felt too free to play. I love the additions of the indie game characters. Overall, the game felt boring, and the fighting techniques and everything were all pretty the same. And so even though the locked characters were just skins of the characters you already had, so there's no point of unlocking them. I mean, they had a little bit different, but that's about it. Okay, that's my game.
Brawlout.
Brawlout. Like, that's an interesting one because I totally see what he's saying. And probably once Smash Bros. Is out, like it feels even worse. We had like a decent amount of fun, but the part of Brawlout that sucked for me was the like unlock system is just
The worst.
yeah, it's almost impossible.
I think the game is actually fun. I had a lot of fun with you and Jake. You know, we played locally. I think Brawlout is a perfectly serviceable Smash-like game.
But I get what he's saying. Like, yeah, it's cheaper maybe.
At first, I confuse them sometimes because the names are so similar. Like Brawlhalla, is that one the free one? But no, Brawlhalla is the free one.
Right.
He's talking about Brawlout. I don't think that game is bad, but the unlocking in it is one of the worst unlock systems I've seen.
Yeah, and it definitely, like, the indie characters are cool, but it does not have the roster, the variety, even the movesets to compete with the amazing glory that Smash Bros. And its 74 characters ended up being.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling, though.
All right, next one, Ghost. We're going after you on this one.
Mario Odyssey. No,
Whoa.
just kidding. I would probably say ARMS, just because, well, it wasn't really interesting to me. I mean, it was fun for what it offered, but, I mean, it just didn't appeal to me. It's fun, but it's nothing. It's no Mario Odyssey or Zelda Breath of the Wild or, well, any other game on the Switch. That's all I have to say. Hopefully I'm on the podcast. Thank you.
Ding, ding, ding. You are a winner. And I thought we were going to have to fire producer Eric for picking a call that said Mario Odyssey was the worst Switch. So luckily you're safe for another week.
ARMS is not bad. Dude, ARMS is underrated to me. I don't know why anyone would think that it's like one of the worst Switch games. I can understand feeling burned a little bit by the price, right? Like if you paid $60 and you thought maybe, hey, there's not enough content there, I guess especially if you bought it maybe 4 or 5 months after release, because by then the online community was already so hardcore and so limited. Like the people that are there and they are insane at it. So you're not going to have fun with the online, but if you're playing locally with friends, like I still think that's a quality game personally.
Yeah, I think a lot of it probably has to do with when it was purchased. We loved ARMS, but that was almost exclusively playing locally. So I can imagine like, hey, maybe you got ARMS on a recent sale and you dive in and there's all the characters and that's cool. But two things about that. One, there's not all that to look forward to. It's already just kind of there. And two, yeah, if you don't have people to play with in person, like the online scene is probably just like no fun at all for a brand new player that doesn't have the time or desire to like dedicate their lives to it. But I'm always sad about ARMS, and I love that Nintendo tried something different. New IP is something that I applaud so much. Splatoon became one of the best franchises Nintendo has out of a wonky, weird, quirky idea. And ARMS obviously doesn't reach the same heights, but like I loved it for the fact that it is a try at something brand new and has innovative Nintendo charm while still kind of trying to be in a genre that has a lot of popularity.
I absolutely agree with everything you said. ARMS gets a bad rap, unfortunately. Get it, rap with the arms. And
wrap your arms with the little tape. Gabe, I want to see you like in Creed 3. That's my like one of my favorite movie series. I feel like you'd be a good villain.
But I'm so nice.
Well, that's the best part. So like those movies are always emotional. So like Michael B. Jordan, he's like beating you up and you're like, I'm just a good guy. And then you both cry and it's like a happy ending.
Oh man, Michael B. Jordan and I could just cry in each other's arms. I'm so down. Hit me up, Michael.
All right, next call, guys.
the worst Switch game I've played is a game called No Thing. It's in all capitals, just called No Thing. Not nothing, but No Thing on the Nintendo Switch eShop. It's in the download-only game section.
I had to verify this was a real game, and it is in fact a real game.
I know nothing about No Thing. I don't know.
I have nothing pulled up right now. This tells you all you need to know, Gabe. The headline for the game is the year is 1994 and it is the future.
Okay. Is that it?
It says No Thing features radical gameplay, migraine-inducing weird storyline, retro full 3D. Yeah, this sounds awful. Any game that says it has migraine-inducing weird storylines, not so much fan.
I don't want to. Oh, Zach, look at the gameplay.
Yeah,
what is this?
It's terrible. Goodness gracious.
Thank you for telling us about this.
Why is any game advertising itself as migraine-inducing is my question.
I don't know. Maybe it's for masochists.
Tell the story of an office clerk who is sent with an important message to the Queen of Ice.
Oh,
Easy to
okay.
play, hard to master.
Move us on. I don't want to know anything about ice.
No Thing.
Oh, man.
It's only $2. I kind of want to go get this now.
It was something on eShop. All right, guys. Next call. Hey, it just came out.
Hey, what's up, guys? Love your YouTube channel. Listen, the worst Switch game I've played is clearly Super Mario Bros. Wii U Deluxe. Had a lot of high hopes for this one. I loved the Wii title, New Super Mario Bros. And it just let me down. It was so simple, just going through the motions, and there was no challenge or no fun with it. And it really let me down, so I sold it. I got DK Country. DK Country is 10 times better. But yeah, I was hoping a lot more from Super Mario Bros. Alright, see you guys. Love the channel.
Okay, Zach. Clearly, DK is probably like the better game. There's no argument there. You're right on that. But if you loved it on Wii U, how do you not love it on Switch? It's the same game.
Well, I think that's probably the deal, right? You go play it again. You pay again.
You loved it.
You're hoping to rekindle that emotion. I've had that experience. I've had that where like you get a game that you loved even a couple years ago, and you're like, I'm just not feeling it. I empathize with you a lot. First of all, thanks so much for being such a big supporter of the channel. It means a lot. And second, yeah, I get it. But if you, I was gonna say if you still have the game, but he sold it. Like, I hope you win through the challenges, because to me that's where that game shines. That's both Gabe and I's favorite part, is like the challenge mode is so good and so unique. And I think, I wonder how many people will feel like a little very different, but like knowing that Super Mario Maker 2 is $60.
Yeah.
And so is that, like,
Mario Maker 2
apart.
It's an infinite game. I mean, at least until the servers close down one day, I guess.
Right.
But there's just going to be like infinite amounts of fun. And if you don't look, okay, you thought that Deluxe was too easy. Wait for Super Mario Maker 2. That is going to be the exact opposite of too easy.
And those challenges, I still like. I'm learning that outside of No Thing, people have some pretty strong opinions about even some of the biggest Switch games. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go to the next one. Sorry, Gabe.
Hi, my name is Bradley, and as much as I'd like to say that the worst game I've played on Switch is some under-the-radar indie game that no one's ever heard of, I don't think that's a fair comparison to make, so I'm arguing that the worst game I've played on Switch is actually Mario Tennis Aces, because at a $60 price point, the amount of content you're getting and repetitive gameplay is kind of ridiculous for a Nintendo game.
Whoa!
And I honestly just expect better quality from a Nintendo game. I ended up selling it a couple months after I got it, and I played it for less than 10 hours, and it was not a very fun experience. The story mode was somewhat entertaining, but it wasn't very long, so the content provided just wasn't worth the price point, and I found the gameplay to be extremely repetitive. And if you're going to play a competitive online game or a local game with one of your friends, there's many other games that do this much better, like Super Smash Brothers, or even Splatoon 2 if you want to play online with your friends. So I just think because of the Nintendo name attached to it, it's kind of ridiculous of the content that is provided. Anyway,
Okay.
thank you for listening.
Eric,
Have an amazing
Eric,
day.
what's this person's name?
Bye.
Bradley.
Bradley. Blasphemy. What are you? What?
No, it's Bradley, Gabe.
I know. I said Bradley, but I also said
You
blasphemy.
called him blasphemy. His name is Bradley, and like he has a valid point.
Wait, what's his point? What's the valid point?
The point is when you have games, and this goes across all consoles. Anthem just comes out. That's a massive game. So when you're faced with a game or a choice like Smash Bros. Ultimate being huge and Splatoon 2 being huge and packing content in all facets of the experience, multiplayer, co-op, single player, so much content, it could feel like you got burned if you got quote unquote stuck with Mario Tennis Aces, in the same way that like you could buy Anthem or you could buy a massive open world game and instead feel like you got stuck with Resident Evil 2 Remake, which only took you 6.5 hours. But I do wonder if Bradley's just not a tennis guy, because to me, that game does have the Nintendo quality, even if it doesn't have the immense amount of content. I think sometimes we just get in a weird mindset of like, not every game can be this mega game for $60.
But this one does have a lot of content. I mean, some of this was added in post-release, which I guess if we're not going to give it credit for that, it had great post-release content with DLC. There's co-op in it now. The story, while like, yes, it's like a little short, this is a sports game. So I don't know, maybe Bradley isn't a sports guy, period, but playing Madden is repetitive, just like Mario Tennis is playing repetitive, and 2K, whatever, NBA Live. Name a sports game. I think that's just the nature of sports games, period. Even if they are Nintendo sports games. Like, how much different is your fifth Mario Strikers match from your first? They're
Right.
similar. Like, that's just how sports games work. And tennis isn't your thing, cool. I totally understand it. But to say that Mario Tennis Aces is one of the worst games on Switch, and I kind of want to draw a line where just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's like bad. So I get it. Everyone's opinion is their opinion, and this is perfectly fine. Cool. Like Mario Tennis Aces is like terrible in your mind. Like, I understand it, but there is definitely quality there, I think.
Yeah, it's a conundrum that I think a lot of people face now, just given how different games are. And you can get a really well-made 5-hour game, or you can get a 100-hour game, and they both are $60. You can get a new Super Mario Bros. You port with very little new content, in fact reduced content in some areas, or you can get Super Mario Maker 2 with infinite content for $60. So I don't know that anything needs to change, but I do understand how some people feel different, especially in today's day and age where, I don't know, in the last generation, 2 generations ago, more, for the most part, games were mostly more similar. And now there's such, in the world of a free Fortnite and a free Apex Legends and a $60 Mario Tennis Aces, maybe you feel shaky, but hey, both Gabe and I loved it. So
yeah, thank you for the call.
All right, next call. We did get a prank call, by the way. For people that are calling in, we prefer if you call to actually vent. Reggie from Nintendo called in.
Oh boy!
And I would have played it, and you guys can tell me if you want to hear me play it. I'll mute his channel that he shouted out, but it's actually a really good call. Next call, here you go.
Hey guys, this is El Comanche. Been listening to your show for a long time. Really enjoy the show. It's a great time all the time. As far as my worst Switch game I think I've ever played, I would have to say what happened was I got Breath of the Wild as a gift after I had already bought it from a really close friend of mine. I ended up returning it and getting back a Nintendo gift card for the eShop. I then went on to the eShop to buy Binding of Isaac, only to find out that it was not up my alley whatsoever. I was severely disappointed. And essentially, I wasted like $40 at the time picking up this game. So I unfortunately never told my friend that I spent the money on a game that I'm probably never going to touch again. So I felt awful. But that was definitely my most disappointing Switch game to date. And I know that's actually a pretty decent game from a lot of other people's standpoints. So I consider myself lucky that I never got suckered into buying a horrible game. But that's it. Anyway, keep up the great work, guys. Bye.
I really like that because that was my exact experience. Binding of Isaac's a great game, but it honestly was such a regret at $40. We put it actually as one of our big Switch regrets, that first regret video we made, talking about games that we were sad about getting, and that was mine, my first one, because it's just so overpriced, and there are so many good similar games on the eShop. Enter the Gungeon comes to mind, Dead Cells comes to mind, and the fact that it's just so pricey, even though it does come with some cute extras, it's tough. It's tough. And especially like I know you already had it, but like going from Breath of the Wild to Binding of Isaac, it's a rough road.
Yeah, because you hear like Binding of Isaac is like Zelda, and then you just played Breath of the Wild, and okay, they kind of mean the first Zelda, and it's just more like it in like gameplay more than anything, I guess, because structurally, I guess it's similar to like the original Zelda, but nothing like what you experience with Zelda now. Binding of Isaac is a little bit weird because it is a quality game, and I too recognize it, but that's not the type of game I want to play anymore. I've played a lot of it when it originally had a PC release, like way back in the day. You know, shout out to Northern Lion, which like he had amazing content for it, and I just wanted to constantly get better at it. But yeah, I'm bummed you don't like it, and I don't blame you though. I completely do understand this one.
Same.
Okay, so the worst Nintendo Switch game I've played was Has Been Heroes, and the reason is because it was just not fun, and yeah, that's it.
That's a personal disappointment for me too. That was one of the first Switch games I played. Period, Zach. I think it was at
taking
PAX
us
South.
way back.
Yeah, PAX South. I went and stood in line, and it was one of the few games that wasn't at Nintendo's booth that you were able to play on the Switch. So we definitely wanted to get our hands on it. It was also one of the few places you could even touch a Pro Controller. I think the first time
that's where it did. Yeah,
that was the first time I ever touched a Pro Controller, and I was checking out the controller. And yeah, the game just didn't resonate because I played it and I said, whoa, like this isn't exactly what, because I thought it was going to be more like Darkest Dungeon. But then I find out it's more like of this like rhythm thing, sort of like there's no music, but the gameplay is very rhythmic. You have to keep going in stride with what's happening. And I didn't have any fun with it either. I love the art style and I love the pedigree of the developers behind it. But yeah, I didn't like it at all either.
It was one of the first very divisive games on Switch because there was something to it, but it took so long and your runs could be so elongated and amount to nothing. And it eventually became too frustrating to persevere through, but the idea was there. I think I ended up liking it a lot more than you did. But you're right. It did disappoint us, just like the last caller.
Yeah.
The only call I'm going to chip in on.
I'd have to say the worst Switch game that I've ever played is WWE 2K18. It was so bad. I was super excited to get it because I'm a big fan of WWE and I've been playing it on my Xbox for years. And like finally, I get to take this wherever I go. And I play it. The frame rate's trash. You can barely play it. There's 6 people on the screen, and it's just an overall bad experience, even with the updates.
Did you guys play it at all? I know you guys not wrestling. Okay.
No, I just know the lore that it is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, we know that the port is like terrible, but Zach and I are not into WWE much. And then on top of not being fans of the sport, or I think it's considered a sport, yeah, it's not our thing. And then we heard the port was terrible.
It absolutely was. This game, anybody that calls in has a bad experience with the game. This game couldn't even run. You paid full price for this game, and the frame rate, you couldn't do anything. And then a year after the game, they were like, done. They didn't come back the next year. So yeah, I had to play it on my buddy's Switch, and it's the only game I think I've ever played on the Switch.
That's sad. Man, Gabe, we got to reevaluate. Okay, first we got a producer that almost picked Mario Odyssey as a bad game. Now he's only played WWE. We're going to have to fix that.
Yeah. Bad producer.
Why? Hey, I don't know what are the best Switch games to play. They're gonna have to let me know. All right, next call.
All right. So the worst Switch game. That's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to go say Bouncy Bob. This is kind of like a newer game. It came out. I don't know when it came out, but it was like for sale for like 1 cent, and I was like, I had like a gift card and a bunch of like reward points, and I was like, why not? Let's play it. And this game was just so hard to control, and like it was
he's bouncy.
It was just a nightmare. And like I never thought that I'd want to return a game that I got for 1 cent, but
he wanted his penny back.
Excited to see this call be aired, but yeah, that's the worst Switch game ever.
It's like he went to like a gas station, bought something, went out to the parking lot, had it. He left a penny at the thing for somebody, and then he came back in to get it. Like that's.
I will give you credit though, because at least you played the cheap Switch game.
All right, no one's gonna know what we're talking about there. Don't worry about it.
Oh, they absolutely will. If you've seen Gabe's dollar video, Bouncy Bob though, that it does look terrible. And hey, I mean, the fact that you're upset about your cent lets me know how terrible it really is.
No, he said that he saved up a bunch of gold coins. He got this for a cent. All right, that's
Dang.
cool.
All right, this
Gosh,
is
it
the last
sounds like it
one,
rivals
guys.
WWE.
Yeah.
So, you guys ever, save up store credit on the Google eShop? Nintendo eShop. And, you save up enough store credit and you think, wow, I'm really excited to buy this game. I'm excited for it. In my case, that was Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Trilogy. And I come back after, an hour of getting ready to go to bed, and I realized that my little brothers, bought Room in the Night Sky. And I thought to myself that maybe it's not as bad as everyone says, and maybe I can have at least some fun while I get more credit up in my Google Play account, as I don't have that much, that much money. But it was awful, and that's probably the worst experience I had on buying something on the eShop.
Naruto,
We are
guys.
so blessed, Zach, that we get to play these games, and a lot of times we're pretty informed on what they are. So when Naruto came out, I don't like Naruto. I've never seen the show. Not that I don't like it. I'm just not into it. Yeah, that's one that I knew to stay away from, just because the reviews and the early word was just that it wasn't a good port.
Yeah, it's extra sad when like you save up and then blow all that on something that bad. Like that's
Especially since you did it on eShop, you can't like sell it. You can't like do anything.
right. Yeah, all digital future. It's got its drawbacks. Thanks for sharing the story. It's always sadder when you hear the story.
Yeah,
When it builds
I'm
up.
sorry that happened to you.
Just like I realized that was not the last call. This is.
I'm Edgar, and I have a question. Am I the first one to call y'all?
Wait, was he? He might have been like second.
He was actually the last person to call. Out
Oh,
of the voice
Edgar.
messages.
Man, oh man. A little late there, bud. A little bit late. But he could be first for next week.
Okay.
Is that going to
He
become
should-
a thing, getting voice messages like in YouTube comments first? Oh, please don't. I have way
Yeah,
too much
no,
audio. to go
take that
through.
back. Never mind. I know. No.
But that's it,
Are you gonna
guys.
play the Reggie call?
Do you want to play the Reggie call?
I want to talk to Reggie. I've talked to Miyamoto. I haven't talked to Reggie. I want to talk to Reggie.
I gotta blur out one swear word, but here you go. This is Reggie.
Hello, Switch Force. It's me, Reggie. I've called you today to let you know that everything on Switch is amazing, and you should be asking them about everybody's favorite game instead. I can't wait to drop off the battle bus and kick your ass on Fortnite. You spend your days running a YouTube channel while I spend my time running a company. Also, if you'd like Mother 3 localized, as well as a better online service, make sure to subscribe using Twitch Prime.
No, okay.
If he does not become Hunt Partner in 1 month, I'm canceling Animal Crossing for Nintendo
Whoa.
Switch and making Amiibo Festival Deluxe instead.
Gosh.
Okay, that's all the time you've got. I gotta get back to localizing the Smash Bros. DLC fighters, including Joker from Batman and Burger King from Sneak King. That's all the time I've got. I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS.
I love how calm Reggie is and how confident he is in his game plan for Nintendo and for the Switch.
That's a great impersonation. Like his inflections. Reggie.
Very, very nicely.
I've talked to Reggie for like half a second. We were like downstairs in the Nintendo booth, like you were talking to someone, and like I kind of like bumped into him by accident. I said, "Sorry, Reggie." He says,
"That's talking to Reggie, Gabe."
He said, "No problem." So I said, "I'm sorry." He said, "No problem." I talked to him.
Oh, Gabe.
Half a second.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
But that
well, hey Reggie, please don't cancel Animal Crossing, even though it was absent from the last direct, and we're sad. Please keep it coming, and dear God, don't make it Amiibo Festival 2.
All right, Zach, you want to give them the phone number one last time and introduce next week?
A bunch of really good calls. Thank you so much. We were overwhelmed by how much response we got and how quality they were. As Eric mentioned, you can't get them on there. If you keep them around 30 seconds, even under 60 is good. And just give us, your thoughts. I would like to add for next week, again, let us know your name and where you're from. It would be awesome to hear and just kind of get a sense of who you are. And then instead of saying this person, we can call you by your name, like Bradley did.
First name and state.
Yes, indeed. It's 321-300-5293. And you're going to want to take that down because next week's topic is real relevant. The big direct just happened. Lots of months of anticipation, many moons we waited, and many games were missing. So let us know at 321-300-5293 which game you were most bummed to see missing
Animal
from
Crossing. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing.
I think that's going to be a lot of people's pick, but there's so many more. There were rumored games, there were leaks that didn't come true. There's all the titles that Nintendo has announced but not shown very much. So let us know which game you were the most upset about missing and why. Call in, get featured next week. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you guys and girls so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest and all these new fun features we're bringing to the channel. Make sure to check out the new game series if you want to win an online subscription. Call in for next week. And until next time, thanks so much, everybody. We love you a lot. For myself and Gabe and producer Eric, Switch Force out.